Text in on the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. We're having a blast here on this Friday. Man, it is doing good. And when you look at it, we are talking about boxing during the middle of football season, which is crazy to even think about.
It's not the middle, it's the beginning.
Well, I'm saying right in the middle of starting football season. So it's just crazy. And, man, I never really realized that you were in such tip-top shape back in your 20s. So that let me know that, you were pretty awesome. So it's good. I appreciate it.
I thought about walking on to LSU's football team when I was there. But
really?
I just couldn't put on any weight. I was sitting at 175, and I couldn't tack on the weight. But, as soon as you join a program like that, they beef you up real good.
Yeah, well, they beef you up if you make the team, and then they don't really treat the walk-ons as good as they do the players, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to play, and as far as that practice, but most of the time you run that scout team. So either way, that's go ahead.
That one time an entire team walked out so that the walk-on could get a jersey and play. Made a whole movie about it.
Which one?
Which one?
Oh, Rudy.
Oh, yeah. Some of that was real.
Sensationalized, yeah.
Yeah, some of it was real.
Montana's actually commented on that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we're excited. We are on the phone with a Florida Gator insider, college football analyst, Christopher Hobby. Some of you may know him as Christopher Hobbzilla. Christopher, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. We're getting closer to Saturday.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Chris, you are a Florida Gator insider, so we do have some questions for you. We're so thankful that you joined us. Where can people find you as far as finding your stuff, whether it be on Facebook or whatever other places that you put your content out? Where can they find you at?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on X, which formerly was Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me under the handle Christopher Hobby, which is my name, or people call me Christopher Hobbzilla. You can find me that way as well.
So, Christopher, are you by chance a boxer or anything like that? We've been talking about boxing here because Mayweather and Tyson are going to be fighting, and one of my guys here, LSU Jeff, he's a big fan of LSU, and he let me know that he could probably box about 2 to 3 rounds right now. That Hobbzilla thing, that's not your boxing name, is it?
No, I used to actually do a lot of weightlifting, and that's actually how I got the nickname.
Okay, well, that's cool. All right, so let's get to business of what we've been talking about, what we've been thinking about. So tell us, because there's been a lot of chatter online to start the season that there were problems. We heard there were pictures taken of DJ Lagway with a boot, walking boot in the beginning. There were pictures where they said, oh, well, DJ Lagway, you can't see his feet or his legs in any of their pictures that they took with the team. How's DJ doing right now as far as being physically, good and 100%?
Okay. So DJ actually is healthy. He's good to go. He's ready to play football. You've seen him play, against LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, just shrugging defenders off injured. So it doesn't really matter if he's 100%, but my source tells me that he is fine. The media is just blowing this all out of proportion. And it's actually someone that's kin to him. And he gives me a lot of great information. I knew about DJ having the Jordan brand deal before it went, big recently in the past week or so, about a month ago. So he gives me great information, but DJ's ready. People got a little bit, upset with the LIU game because he didn't look like he was 100% in it, and he threw a few bad passes. But DJ's completely fine. He's just a guy that wants to always do his best. So he may have been a little bit disappointed in the rust he had during that game with LIU. But he still threw for 3 touchdowns and played pretty good to me.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to more of the team. What kind of injuries, obviously when you're playing LIU, a team that you handily beat, what are the injuries right now that you've got for Florida that might be significant for this game coming into playing USF?
I mean, honestly, right now the team is pretty healthy. People don't understand that Billy is a lot more strategic than people think, and I think a lot of this is actually just kind of chess. You know, this guy's hurt, that guy's hurt. Because remember, yeah, USF is a good team. They beat Boise State. We don't know how good Boise State is. Ashton Genty may have been the entire team. And now moving forward, Florida has LSU right after USF in Death Valley. So I think they're not coming forward with everything. Caleb Banks is somebody that, you know, has been injured that we need by LSU for sure. So that's someone I'm concerned about a little bit. But other than that, Florida is pretty healthy. Dallas Wilson, we haven't seen him touch the field. People went crazy over Vernell Brown III, but wait till they get a load of Dallas Wilson. He's more of a Jeremiah Smith-built wide receiver, and I really think Florida's got something there, and they want to keep him healthy and keep some tape off of him, so he might not even play against USF. But I was told by another Florida insider that Dallas Wilson is healthy, and he's going to be a menace.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I want to go back to what you started off with when we were talking about it. I'm not a believer in Boise State at all. I don't think they're that good at all. I think the win over Boise, the curb stomping is what I called it when USF beat them. So, you know, that's just one of those things. Yeah, Boise's been a team that you look at in the past, but I agree with you. I don't know if they're going to be that good. So I'm not sure, and I'm not totally sold on South Florida. Do I think that they might be all right or they might have a good team? That's fine. But my analysis is that a lot of the tackles, if you saw it from Boise missed a lot of tackles. They had USF's quarterback in the backfield. They had him out in the flats, and he just kind of shrugged them off. And Florida is not going to miss that many tackles. They're going to beat them up. They're going to, you know, chew them up on that offensive line, that defensive line. And so I agree with you, and I think that's the key. Now, a lot of things that we have seen over the time, you know, everybody talked about how hot Billy Napier's seat was. And, you know, coming into the season, everybody was saying it's all on the back of DJ Lagway. And because of how good he played in those good big games at the end of the season when they went on the run that they made at the end. Do you think that there's any of that talk still kind of lingering around with the Gator fans or even in the inside part of the Gators locker room?
Not so much. I mean, the fans are always going to doubt. I mean, a lot of them are, you know, still convinced DJ Lagway is just terribly injured, and you just saw him play a good game, you know. So
yeah,
half of a game.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but me personally, I didn't want him to play more than one quarter. So
yeah,
you know, it's basically the defense for Florida is going to be its best under Billy Napier this year. I don't think there's any, you know, doubt as much from the team itself or anything like that. It's more or less, you know, the fan base has, you know, had problems accepting Billy thus far.
Yeah, we're talking with Christopher Hobby, Gator insider, college football analyst. Now, let's talk about that secondary deal that nobody really has talked about. I've got some friends that are Florida fans, and, you know, we discuss stuff during the week. And a lot of Florida fans are really getting excited about the future because of your backup quarterback. They said he looked really good. Obviously, you're playing Long Island. I get it. You know, he might have done better with, you know, Long Island Iced Tea probably would have knocked him down better than the Long Island team. But either way, when you look at him, tell us a little bit about him, maybe for the fans that don't know anything about him or the people that don't know anybody that's listening right now.
Gladly. Tremel Jones was a kid that was committed to Florida State. I'm highly involved in following Florida recruiting and just Florida State recruiting, Miami recruiting, things like that. And Tremel Jones was somebody that once I saw him sign with Florida or commit to Florida State, I was like, oh no, he's going to be a problem. You know, I've watched a lot of it, everything like that. And then he ended up flipping to Florida. And then I'm like, what are we going to do with this guy? Is he going to transfer? Who's going to? One of them's got to go. There can be only one, you know, kind of thing. But we also got Harrison Bailey at the same time from Louisville. And I was thinking, you know, Harrison Bailey was going to be the next, you know, decent backup for Florida. But once we got Tramel Jones, and I realized that he had, you know, because they waited until halftime of that game. It didn't get exposed. I don't know one insider that knew Tramel Jones was 100% Florida's backup until the news broke at halftime. Then the story breaks from all your major other people saying, hey, look, you know, Tramel Jones is the backup.
Wow.
It's a really good thing. Tramel Jones, he reminds me a lot of DJ in ways. So, I mean, I really followed him and Julian Sayin a lot. And Julian Sayin, you see what he's doing at Ohio State. That's kind of who he reminds me of, just more mobile.
Yeah.
So, but I think great hands if we do have to go to a, you know, say DJ does have an injury problem and we have to go to Tramel Jones, I think he will pick up the pace greatly.
Yeah, because I heard he could move out of the pocket really good, and he's a very mobile quarterback. Well, real quick, we've got about 4 minutes. Yeah, we've got about 4 minutes left before we take our next break. Let's get into, I don't like to look ahead. I just believe, you know, Florida's going to be too big, too fast, too strong for USF. I think it might be close early, but I think they'll pull off as it gets longer, and I believe that they'll be able to run the football, and then that'll spell trouble for USF because I don't think they have a bunch of depth. But either way, man, Florida's schedule, that's something that needs to be talked about. You got LSU away, you got Miami away, and then you got Texas at home. When you look at those three games, you know, let's just, you know, I know you're a Florida fan, but I'm a realist. I'm an Alabama fan. I'm a realist. We struggled this past weekend. It was a really bad deal. But realistically, if Florida can get away with just one loss on those three games, I mean, that would be like the best thing in the world. Would you agree with that? Or I mean, are you dialed in that these guys are going to go 3-0 against that tough of competition back to back to back like that?
I mean, I feel like they will go 3-0. I mean, LSU's the only. Basically, what I've done is I've picked Florida to go 10-2 this year, and the two losses that I currently have is Texas A&M because it's a away game, and LSU is an away game. But I'm really not as concerned with Texas, and I wasn't concerned with them before the game with Ohio State that much because I really feel like at home Florida is going to be a big problem for Texas, especially after seeing Arch Manning, you know, his debut and everything. But I really feel like the big games for Florida to worry about are the away games. I think as long as they're at home, they're fine. So Death Valley LSU loss is a possibility, but I have us picked to go, you know, 10-2, 9-3, the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I'm looking at, and this is really crazy for me because, you know, coming into the season, I was a big doubter of the ACC, and which Jeff has been on my back about, you know, talking bad about the ACC, and I almost called him ACC Jeff for the whole time that he's been doing all this mess. But either way, I think Miami's going to be tough. I know you know what you're going to get when you go to LSU. I know, you know, Texas, it'll probably be a lot different Texas team by the time you guys play them. So, you know, either way, that'll be the thing. But as long as Carson Beck stays healthy, because, I mean, I'm just being honest, and then listening to, we've got an insider from Miami that we talked to as well, and he's spinning the ball. And, you know, I watched that full game the other night against Notre Dame, and people can say what they want about Notre Dame's defense or if they were really doing this or that, because Notre Dame's schedule has been easy in the past, that they kind of, you know, didn't show a lot. But I think that Miami game is going to be tough. I know that, you know, they're playing in the stadium that they always play in, and it hadn't been whatever, but that stadium the other night was rocking. And so I could see that Florida-Miami game getting back to an 80s matchup or a 90s matchup where it was, some really hard-nosed football. So we've got about a minute left. So you think that Florida realistically is going to go 10-2, so that would put them in the college football playoff, right?
Yes, it would. They've even said 9-3 would probably put them in the playoff. And I agree with you. Miami is going to be tough. I had to pick somebody, and I did not want to pick Miami, but LSU and Texas A&M, because Texas A&M returns almost the entire team. So they beat Florida prior.
You don't think that Tennessee playing in Gainesville is about the same, I don't want to say stamina, but the same strength as a Hurricanes team?
I don't know. Tennessee, Florida has always had Tennessee's number for the most part. I mean, we beat them so many times out of the past 30 years.
True, you're right.
Yeah, but Miami, you're right. They are a team to be scared about, but I could not choose Florida to lose to them if I had to pick somebody to lose to.
I was only able to tailgate one time in Gainesville, and it was 2 years ago, and y'all pulled the upset, and that was satisfying. That was great that y'all did that. Let me ask you a couple of questions. So y'all spread out the ball to so many different receivers. That was definitely a positive from this past week. Got experience on that. But what about that kicker missing all those field goals?
Yeah.
That hurt, man. I actually had some, money on Hard Rock on that, and those field goals cost me because I had Florida covering, and a little half point messed me up. He missed 3 field goals, but it's Trey Smack. He's a really tough kicker. I think that he just kind of was playing down to the competition and, wasn't taking everything as serious as he should, and, he's going to grow, and we're going to need him down the road. He's been a great kicker so far. I love Trey Smack. So.
Yeah, well, and you know how it is in those games like that. You're going to need those points, no matter if they're touchdowns. Obviously, you want touchdowns, but being able to kick those field goals really help in those close games. So, but Chris, we appreciate you, man, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll keep getting some updates and some analysis. So, just keep on the phone with us, and we appreciate you coming in. Christopher Hobby, sports analyst. We appreciate you, buddy. Have a good time, and go Gators this weekend.
Thank you, Gators.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. And when we come back, we're going to talk